Radio Kim Inspirasi Infora Islami. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to the dear listeners of Kim FM. Welcome to this special interview. I'm your host, Batrisyia Afrina. And for today, for this special interview, I have Dr Dina Sijamhodžić-Nadarević. She is Associate Professor at the Faculty of Islamic Studies of the University of Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina. And Doctor, Assalamualaikum.
Alaikumussalam.
Alhamdulillah. And Doctor, how long have you been in Malaysia?
This is first time to be in Malaysia, and I'm sending my warm regards and salams to all the listeners of the IKIM radio, and I'm conveying salams from Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's my pleasure to be today with you.
And it's a pleasure to have you in the studio. And dear listeners, for today, Dr. Dina going to talk about the Islamic education and identity formation in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And Doctor, obviously, you have extensive expertise in pedagogy, particularly in the teaching of Islamic education. And before we go into the first question of the interview, I'd like to touch a bit on the background of Dr. Dina. She is from Bosnia and Herzegovina. She works as an associate professor at the Faculty of Islamic Studies of the University of Sarajevo, Department of Religious Pedagogy and Religious Psychology, Bosnia and Herzegovina. She also teaches pedagogy or religious pedagogy group of courses such as general pedagogy, general didactic, methodology of teaching religious instruction, and religious pedagogy. She is also the author of 3 books and more than 20 academic articles in the field of pedagogy, theology, and religious pedagogy. So, Doctor, as a starting of this interview, could you walk us through the structure of the Islamic education system in Bosnia and Herzegovina?
Thank you very much. Islamic religious education, institutional Islamic religious education in Bosnia and Herzegovina has a very long history. It started in the mid of the 15th century with the presence of the Ottomans in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So we are speaking here about the following structure of Islamic religious education in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Mektebs as basic institutions, non-formal, for religious Islamic education for kids aged 7 to 15 years old, and those schools are mostly attached to the mosque, you know. Sometimes we have mekteb centers in the cities, but mektebs offer basic knowledge about Islam to kids, and we are trying to introduce those Islamic values to kids and to make them used and to develop habits to perform religious duties. Then we have madrasas. Today, madrasas are high Islamic schools, and curriculum madrasa is very similar to gymnasium curriculum. A gymnasium is state school, secular state school, but madrasas have religious component. The curriculum of madrasas is comprised of 30% of subjects that belong to Islamic field of knowledge, and 70% of subjects that belong to other fields of knowledge, such as natural sciences, languages, multicultural disciplines, humanities, social studies, and so on. It means that this structure of the curriculum enables madrasas graduates to pursue higher education not only in Islamic higher education institutions, but also at other state secular faculties or universities. You know, they can pursue higher education at the medical faculty, at the law faculty, economy, and so on and so on. For us, madrasa education, Islamic education is very important because we are trying to form Islamic identity at pupils, at students, who will be reflecting on that and who will live according to those Islamic values and principles and act in their future professions according to Islamic principles. It's very important. Madrasa education has a long history, as I told at the beginning. In the Ottoman time, we had around 100 madrasas, and the number reduced over the time during the Austro-Hungarian time, during the First and Second World Wars, and during the communist time, all madrasas were closed by force. Only one madrasa existed at that time. After the war time in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and during the war, 1992, 1995, 5 other madrasas were reopened. They existed previously, but they were closed during the communist time. So today we have 7 madrasas. One more is opened in 2020. Today we are speaking about 7 madrasas in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Is the whole countries they have 7 madrasas so far?
7 madrasas, yeah. We are a very small country. It's a very small country, around 3.5 million people.
And from your explanation so far, it seems like the Islamic education and also the secular education system has its own separate ways. So perhaps, Doctor, what makes it different from one another?
Islamic educational institutions are founded by the Islamic community in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Islamic community prescribes the curriculum when it comes to the Islamic field of knowledge. And we have also higher Islamic educational institutions in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm teaching at the Faculty of Islamic Studies. It is the oldest higher educational institution in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and 2 other pedagogical faculties were opened also. And at the Faculty of Islamic Studies we have 3 departments. Department of Islamic Theology, another department is Department for Religious Pedagogy, and the 3rd department is Department for Training Imams, Khatibs and Muallims. So it means that we educate Islamic theologians and Imams, Muallims, who will be mostly working in the mosques. Theologians could work also as professors in madrasas and so on. And we also educate religious teachers, religious pedagogues who will be teaching religious education in public state schools. This is something very important for us, that we have today Islamic religious education in public Bosnian schools, state schools. And not only Islamic religious education exists there, we also have a Christian religious education, Catholic, Orthodox and Jews religious education in the state school system. It's very important to mention it here. Confessional religious education in public schools had a very important place during the long history, with the exception during the communist time. During the communist time, religious education was closed in the public space. We couldn't educate our kids in the schools to Islamic values or other religious traditions values. Even education in madrasas was closed, not closed, in other madrasas, only one madrasa existed at that time, but religious education in maktabs also was controlled.
Is it in general or specific for the Islamic religious?
Specific for this period, the communist time, and other religious education.
But it's in general,
Yeah, in general,
not only
in
specific.
general, yeah,
Okay.
in general. So the curriculum for confessional religious education in public schools is prescribed by the Islamic community, and Islamic community also issues certificates for the religious teachers, certifying their competencies and suitability to teach Islamic education in public schools. But religious teachers in schools are paid by the state. They are paid by the states. When it comes to the textbooks, they are also prepared by the people who are specialists in Islamic religious education. The textbooks are developed within the Islamic community, but the textbooks must be approved by the ministries of education.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a whole procedure.
it's not made by the government, but it is regulated by the government.
Yeah, it is regulated by the government, but it is made by the Islamic community, prescribed by the Islamic community and prepared. Just should be approved by the ministries of education. We have decentralized system when it comes to the ministries of education.
And going to the next question, I would like to ask for your opinion. How can a deeper understanding of Islamic theology contribute to the promotion of intercultural and interfaith understanding and communication, especially in the modern Bosnia and Herzegovina that consists of multi-ethnics?
Yes, thank you very much for this question. This is very important. When it comes to interreligious and interfaith understanding in Bosnia and Herzegovina, of course, we need to build social coherence, especially during and after the war. We had to build and rebuild social coherence among people. So religious education plays an important role in this, and I could say that intercultural and interreligious values are firmly grounded in our curricula. Recently, I have published an article under the title Contribution of Islamic Religious Education to Intercultural Values in European Cultures, Insights from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I analyzed our curricula at the Faculty of Islamic Studies, and I have found that many courses at the faculty promote intercultural and interreligious values through the teaching units, topics, textbooks, teaching materials, and so on. And not only curricula contains those intercultural, interreligious values, but also we have many projects that promote intercultural dialogue, interfaith dialogue. We have so many projects, workshops, seminars, meeting of young theologians, and so on and so on. When it comes to the confessional religious education in public schools, I could also confirm that that curricula contains many, many topics referring to mutual understanding, tolerance, respecting other religious traditions, and so on. So we have also projects that teachers in public schools, religious teachers in public schools implement. For example, teaching of religious teachers and pupils of different religious traditions in schools. They realize some topics together when it comes to religious holidays, for example, and so on. We have interfaith youth meetings or interreligious youth meetings and so on. So we are trying to be inclusive, to develop and to implement inclusive curricula when it comes to intercultural and interreligious values and interfaith understanding.
And as we are reaching the end of this interview, again, Dr. Aula, I would like to ask for your opinion. What can be done to further develop the Islamic education system in Bosnia and Herzegovina?
It seems that we, as other educational institutions and systems, have to invest much more into educational systems, into the staff, academic staff, or religious teachers. Also, we have to, I think, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we have to work much more on the improvement of the methodology of research and presentation of scientific results. And also, it seems that we have to have more female professors. Actually, we have a lot of female religious teachers in schools, but when it comes to academic level, we have less female teachers. I think this area is also open or should be open to to be improved. It's not that much, improved. We have some professors, teaching assistants, but that space should be much more.
And with that being said, I would like to thank Dr. Dina for her insights on today's topic, Islamic education and identity formation in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And we hope that listeners, that today's sharing will be beneficial to those who are listening to us either through radio or even through our social media. And again, Dr. Dina, thank you for being us in the studio. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much for hosting me. Alaikum salam.
And dear listeners, if you miss any part of the show, you can watch it again through our Facebook page, IKEM FM, and on our YouTube, IKEM Media. And we'll be back next week with more interesting topics, so don't change the radio station. Stay tuned to IKEM FM, Inspirasi Infora Islami.